Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today we are talking the Golden State Warriors, guys. The Golden State Warriors lost to the Sacramento Kings. They didn't just lose. They got blown out against the Sacramento Kings just a few days ago. So we're going to be talking about the Golden State Warriors and, why I think the dynasty is over, but how they can kind of move into the future, how they should approach the offseason, how they should approach Klay Thompson. So we're going to get right into it. But before we get right into it, guys, make sure you guys subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Linda Great Vlogs. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. Make sure you guys go find me on X Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go find me on TikTok at Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. And make sure you guys go find me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the video and let's roll that intro. Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today it'll be intercepted! The defensive line. What the hell are you doing? No effort whatsoever when it came to the defense. That he is 0 for 2 today. Come on, Stotty. Stop! 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 Red Slam! First pitch! Bring him in! Braxton! Stop! Woo! Bring that! Yes! Oh, damn. 1, 2, 3. What? Alright, let's go into the video. So starting off, let's talk about why the dynasty is over. It's not that the Warriors are so bad, because obviously with 4 future Hall of Famers on their team, 3 of them being starters, that being Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, normally a team would have a shot at a championship. But this is the time when it's not going to happen. The competition out west is just so much better and so much younger. You obviously have the Denver Nuggets, the reigning defending champions. I have them going back to the finals. If you guys want to see a video on that, I will have predictions coming out on Friday, I believe, which is actually tomorrow because the play... I think maybe Saturday. I don't know. Saturday, whatever it is. Right after the play-in. So probably Saturday. So yeah, I'll have predictions then. But anyway, so normally... a team with 3 future Hall of Famers starting are definitely going to win, but obviously, as I just mentioned, that is not the case, because you obviously have the Denver Nuggets, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder, you have the Los Angeles Clippers. While they're not young, they're still a great team. Well, you have the Dallas Mavericks, the Los Angeles Lakers are still there, the Rockets are definitely on the come-up. Who else is there? I mentioned the Timberwolves, they're there as well. Like, there are a lot of the Suns, they're going to still be there for about 2 years or 3. So these teams are going to be there next season. And when you look at the Golden State Warriors, salary cap hell, lots of problems within the team. You don't know what's going to happen next season. So there's going to be a lot of drama in the offseason. And also a lot of drama probably coming into the season, which could ultimately mess with a lot of guys. Mentally coming into the year, which would make them not play their best when the season ultimately begins. And, now while we're talking about this season, the Warriors had a below 500 record against the top 16 teams in the NBA. Obviously, they played a little bit better on the road this year, but at the end of the day, this year was a failure. This year was a failure for the Golden State Warriors. Now, people can say it wasn't a failure because of the fact that they played better, like they had better, as a team, they had better statistics, and they had a better record. But last season, you made it to the Western Conference semifinals against the Los Angeles Lakers, ultimately losing in that. Now, people definitely understood that because of the fact that you went against a 7-game series with the Sacramento Kings, a very, very grueling series with the Sacramento Kings, might I add, with injuries, drama, and, a lot of fight in that series. So people can understand why you did lose in that. But now, you are the 10th seed. Now, people can say, well, as I just mentioned, the competition's a lot better. But at the end of the day, if you can't live up to what your opponents are giving you, then you're not good enough. And you're not going to be good enough going forward. So this season has basically told us that the Warriors are pretty much finished, and that you can really call last year a fluke because the teams weren't as good then. So if the teams were as good last year as they were now, would have the Golden State Warriors made it to the Western Conference semifinals is definitely a question we need to ask, which I think means that last year's Western Conference semifinals appearance was a fluke, and this year is just proving my point. So, yeah, it was a failure, and now you have a very, very big problem right now. Because obviously on paper, this roster looks like it can go win a championship, but these guys are not in their prime anymore. Steph Curry is obviously, still a superstar, one of the biggest faces in the NBA, but is he at that moment in his career where he's going to be able to carry a team straight, into the championship? Most likely not. It's just not going to happen. But now we're going to look at what the Golden State Warriors need to do in free agency, or what does it look like in free agency. I think the goal has to be to save money. Now listen, the Warriors have spent, almost $700 million since, the Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Splash Brothers era has really begun. So I think saving money at this moment means getting rid of Chris Paul. I can't really see him coming back. He's on a $30 million contract. I would say you cut him. Even if he does take a pay cut, the Warriors desperately need to get a lot younger, which is something which is a mistake that they made while trading Jordan Poole and James Wiseman a couple years ago. So, I think getting rid of Paul would probably be the best option. I don't know if you should bring back Dario Saric and Gary Payton. Now, while those guys are 31 and 30 years old, that being Peyton 31, Saric 30. So they are younger to some degree, but they definitely have had injuries in the past. Saric towards ACL just a few years ago, and Gary Payton II for the past couple of seasons has definitely had some problems. Obviously did not play in that playing game because of a calf injury, I do believe. So, these guys are getting older. Once again, they've had past injuries. I really like this guy, Podemski. I think he got some credible minutes for the Golden State Warriors, and in the time he did play, I thought he was a really good facilitator. He could also score the ball as well. This guy, Jackson Davis, he has been able to, that's his two last names, Jackson Davis. He was able to get in there. He was starting for a couple of games. I thought he was, a pretty good fifth option in this Warriors lineup. I think that he could definitely improve his game as well to be a credible role player for the Golden State Warriors. So I think increasing their minutes last season would definitely be a good idea. Maybe if you want to extend Jonathan Kuminga or Moses Moody, because in the games that Moses Moody started, I believe he averaged 17 points per game. Jonathan Kuminga showed some improvement throughout this year. Obviously, he had some problems with his minutes earlier in the season, but that's neither here nor there. So he had some pretty good moments in himself, so I feel like giving him more minutes and giving him more time to develop, I feel like he could definitely, be more of an impact for the Warriors. And maybe, trying to bring in some outsiders. I think a guy like a Campaign would definitely work out very, very well. Maybe a Monte Morris, who didn't really play that much with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Once again, Campaign. He's relatively young. He's 29 years old. Hasn't had that many injuries as of late. Obviously, he had some a few years ago, but as of late, he has not had that many injuries. He's younger, and he's a half-decent veteran that I think you could bring in. I definitely think you need some guard help as well, not as well. I think you need some guard help if you want to maybe try and bring in like a guy like an Andre Drummond to try and get you some rebounds, as well as Kayvon Looney, because let's be honest, the Warriors have never been known for scoring the ball inside. They've always been known for shooting the ball on the perimeter. So maybe bring in a guy like an Andre Drummond, a guy who can get you, 15 rebounds a night would definitely help you out there. I think if you fill out guys like that on just like a few $1 million contracts, that could help fill out your roster pretty nicely. Kind of what the Phoenix Suns did this year, and then obviously if you don't load manage the entire year, you might have some success, but that's neither here nor there. Now, obviously we got to address the elephant in the room: what to do with Klay Thompson? Because obviously I didn't talk about him, but I'm saving him for last. There's no doubt that Klay Thompson played terrible. Like, that's just very, very obvious. In a game against the Kings, he didn't shoot the ball well at all. Obviously, 0 for 10 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. And Klay Thompson is a shooter. This is the guy that scored like 30-something points, whatever it was, on just 4 dribbles. He's a catch-and-shoot guy. We all know this about Klay Thompson. The man definitely deserves his flowers, and if the Warriors do want to bring him back, it's got to be at the right price. If he wants a $20 million per year contract, I mean, you can just say bye-bye, because the Warriors right now, they can't be handing out multi-million-dollar deals because of the fact of what you've done in the past. What have you done for me recently is kind of what you need to think if you are the Golden State Warriors. That's why I say bringing back guys like Chris Paul, Dario Saric, and Gary Payton II would not be the greatest idea. So, there you go. All right, so as I mentioned, my camera cut out for whatever reason. All right, back to it. Yeah, Klay Thompson's contract is going to hold you down if you sign him to a multi-year deal, which is something you definitely don't want. I'm not under the belief that they should really bring back Klay Thompson. It just doesn't seem like they're going to win anymore. As I mentioned, they have to get younger. Now, you don't want to lose him for nothing, which would obviously mean you're probably going to have to do a sign and trade. His trade value has sunken like a ship because of the fact he's played so terrible this year. Had some half-decent games at the end of the year, but ultimately didn't just, not a good year at all. And he's probably not going... He can get better, he can improve, but he's not going to be the guy he once was. So that's why I think you should probably include Andrew Wiggins in a sign and trade. Because listen, Andrew Wiggins, as big as a piece as he was to your championship just a few years ago, obviously I thought he should have been at least in talks for Finals MVP with Steph Curry, but obviously Steph Curry was going to win it, and I'm under the belief that Steph Curry should have won. I'm just saying he should have been talked about more for Finals MVP. Anyway, I think he should be included in the trade. I think his run in Golden State has definitely run its course. He's helped them out a lot, as I just mentioned, but his inconsistencies have not helped with a lot of the inconsistencies a lot of guys have had this year, that being Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. So he kind of blended in with the inconsistency and the inconsistency factor. And his contract's a big issue as well. He has a $100 million contract. It's probably time to move on from him. So I would say try and get a half-decent scorer that would help you. If the guy has to come off the bench, that wouldn't be the worst idea. But yeah, try and get yourself a half-decent score. Because Wiggins, while he has inconsistencies, his trade value has not sunken. Because once again, he kind of blended in with everybody who was just not playing as good. So anyway, yeah, that's what I think they should do with Klay Thompson. I do think the dynasty's over, but that'll do it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my Ryan the Great vlogs. Make sure you guys subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the God Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the Star 7 podcast. Make sure you guys, go follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And as always, Ryan the Great out. Peace.